Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. Of course, you know we are the people channel. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto. Today, we got a very special show where you guys can see over there what happened, Ed. I don't know who Ed is. We're going to try to figure out what happened with that. Guys, we got a very special show today. We're going to be bringing on Hussein from New Genesis today at 12 o'clock. This is going to be the most fascinating interview you guys have heard on this debacle. All this stuff that's came out, all the evidence, this man has more of it than anyone. And you guys are going to find out more about not just what SBF has done, not just what FTX and Alameda have done, but really about what the actual scam here is. And you guys are going to be shocked. I can tell you that much. So we're going to be bringing him on. So we're going to kind of do something like totally abnormal. We're going to get right to the show today because I'm going to try to spin through Market Watch. I'm going to cover as many stories as I can. Frank is going to come on at 10 till. And then we are going to get going. So very important show today. Guys, don't forget, first and foremost, make sure you are following us on YouTube. We are now at the highest we've ever been, 1.45 million subscribers. Thank you to the BitSquad. We are finally back and growing. And welcome back all the BitSquad members that left. We're glad you're back. We don't care why you left. We're just glad that you're back and sharing part of this message that we are giving today. Oh, we have a guest in the studio today.
Yeah.
Hey, good to see you. Didn't even realize we had a guest today. I totally forgot about that. It's been a very busy day, as you guys can probably guess. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. 982, we just ticked up again today live on TV. We went from 982.1 to 982.2. Certainly appreciate everybody for following us there. We've really been trying to nail down the narrative here so you guys understand. Guys, we cannot let the narrative shift. This is what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to shift the narrative on who SBF is. They've been trying to pretend like he's this innocent guy with autism. That's what the New York Times said. Innocent guy with autism. I had no idea what he was doing. Guys,
Yeah.
you can't buy that.
He said he's having no problem sleeping, playing a lot of video games lately. Hope that makes you feel better.
Yeah, he's horrible at League of Legends. He's so bad from what I understand. I could actually probably beat him on League of Legends.
Well,
I don't even know what that is. I don't know what kind of game it is.
Let's not get carried away, but yeah, he's bronze 2 is kind of horrible. At least he's not iron, but still.
Yeah. So somebody in there asking me about XRP over and over and over again. Go back up. What does that say?
He's asking about Brad Garlinghouse apparently said in Spaces that XRP is at a zero value on the Ripple balance sheet, but they sell XRP for revenue and then put it on their balance sheet.
Well, that was that's what their model was. They probably aren't doing it during the lawsuit. So they did that in the bear market in 2018. We know that they did that. They talked about it, and a lot of people didn't like it. But people saying Kevin O'Leary probably involved in this. Are we trying to get Kevin O'Leary on the show one day?
Well, we were planning to, towards the start of the year soon, but he's been a little busy lately.
We'll see now. I had this tweet. I talked to Neil Jacobs about this. Guys, Kevin O'Leary is talking out both sides of his mouth. You can't have, and I talked about this on Scott Melker's show earlier today on Wolf of Wall Street. You can't have Kevin O'Leary say on one hand, he only would trust his money with FTX because it's such a great, regulated, safe exchange. And then yesterday on Rancho and Crypto Banner say, I'll just put money in whatever Sam wants me to put money into. That doesn't really make sense. He's trying to tell a narrative. So he's part of shaping this narrative that SBF is a good guy that made mistakes. Give him money again, he'll be totally fine. So let's move on. We've got, don't forget, guys, check out our book, Catching Up to Crypto. Check it out on our website. Go to bitboycrypto.com. You can click on book here. Don't forget to check out our cruise as well. We're also going on a cruise in April to the Bahamas. So maybe we'll find some of those FTT coins. Be pretty fun. You guys want to see me in the scuba diving outfit trying to get some buried treasure up in that little pool that you guys see on the suite that SBF had with Caroline. I heard there's a video coming out.
Oh God, I saw that too.
God forbid.
I'm not going to be looking for it, but I bet BJ will find it.
Oh yeah. So check out, pull up that tweet real quick. The tweet about from Twitter Buzz we were going to show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do Twitter Buzz real quick. Just run it.
Run it.
Yeah. Twitter Buzz. I hear it. Twitter Buzz. Okay. Love Pump, but he put me in BlockFi. Listen, Jim, you put me in Bear Stearns. I lost my entire family because of it. So there you go.
There you go. There's
okay.
That.
Next. New York Fed is launching a 12-week CBDC pilot program with major banks such as Citi, TD Bank, HSBC, and others. Have your daily reminder, keep stacking Bitcoin. Sure, keep stacking Bitcoin, guys. They've done a pilot program before. Don't think this is the first time they've done this. USDC rolling out with Apple Pay. I believe it's a real story here.
Yep.
That's actually the test of the CBDC that's going on. What they're doing with the internal trading It's going to be USDC as the CBDC of the United States, as the digital dollar. I'm very confident in that. What we think they're going to construct their own blockchain in a year or two, not going to happen. So USDC already done that. This is the tweet I wanted to get to for sure. U.S. House Committee announces a hearing on the FTX collapse. Fantastic. We are going to get to see all this play out in Congress to be able to see what's going to happen here. Who knows? Maybe they'll let me come up. By then, we'll have an evidence package that should already be floating around the political hands up there. Just so everybody understands, I know a lot of people have been saying, like, you have all this evidence. You guys are going to see some of it today. Finally, you're going to see some of it today. You guys have this evidence. You working with authorities, or why don't you just tell us all to it? Yeah, there's a roadmap that must be followed here. There is a plan for all this evidence that we have to be able to go into the hands of authorities to be able to use it in this case. It's got to be done the right way, though. We can't front run things. So that's what will be happening. Right now we got 5,200 viewers, 841 likes. Guys, if you like the fact that we are going to have this exclusive interview, no one else has this interview, by the way, today. We're the very first. Let Hussein explain a little bit about why, but we're the very first people that are going to be putting out this information today. If you get exclusive content about FTX and about other scandals in crypto here on the BitBoy Crypto channel, make sure to smash that like button. Number one thing you can do for adoption is like these videos. Moosey Mouse says, Ben, I love you. Pre-ordered your book. What do I need to do to reserve my spot for the meetup in San Francisco? Our Ledger wallet saved that FTX acquired them. Ledger wallet was not acquired by FTX. That was Ledger X. It's a totally different, it's a derivatives platform. Nothing to do with the wallets. We'll be releasing more details on the meetups in the next 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll have all the dates nailed down. I think, TJ, we're gonna change what we're doing with that. I think we're gonna do a 2-week straight.
Oh, wow.
One
Road
city
trip
per day.
Yeah.
I think that's the move, because it's going to be better for my family. Just do it and get it done rather than be gone every week for 2 months. So it'll probably be in February. So you guys can be ready for that. We might do the beginning of March also, because we do the beginning of March. Make sure the books are in people's hands by then. But yeah, so we'll give you details on that. Rumors about SBF and what? I can't see what that says. Stuart Rodney.
I was going to, basically, we're going to be putting a website or a page on the website that explains the cities and the dates. We're still locking down the dates, but we will put the cities that we're coming to Q1 of next year.
Yeah. Well, I gave all the cities away on a video this week.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
well, I just mean, like, for people in the future, if you want to have a reference point.
Perfect. We'll be doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about SafeMoon in FTX. Did everyone go to John Deaton Crypto Law and email the representative? You guys make sure to do that. We'll do that on the channel one day this week. We'll do that on the live stream one day. Okay. So, guys, we're filming a Ledger video today. Show you guys how to self-custody. So you guys get ready for that coming out. Let's move real quick to the crypto markets. I got about 10 minutes to spin through about a zillion things here. Bitcoin at 16,484, 834 billion in market cap, 63 billion in volume. See that volume continue to tick down on an average. It was, I think, 80 billion yesterday. Dominance 38.3%. ETH dominance dropping at 17.9%. Bitcoin up a little bit. Let's see. Ethereum coming in at 1205. Biggest gainers of the day. We got Chili, Stacks, Arweave, Terra Classic, Toncoin. Biggest losers of the day. Trust Wallet just bouncing back to the downside a little bit. It was at 81%. Now you can see it's down 13%. It's still a great project. I reached out to Trust Wallet on Twitter today. You guys know we are looking for strategic partners and sponsors at this point. Nothing to do with tokens, but Trust Wallet is a platform, not as a token itself. Interested on doing some stuff with Trust Wallet because I really like it, and I think it's a great wallet. I trust it a little bit more than I trust the Coinbase wallet for X number of reasons. Primarily, it's not here in the United States, and we know Binance has a good track record. We know they're very solvent, and obviously the Coinbase wallet. You have your private keys, so you don't have to worry about solvency or anything like with that. I would just take the Trust Wallet over the Coinbase wallet. Yeah, I think it's got more coins on it as well.
Well, it's got some good features too, and I think they
you
just
can swap within it.
Yeah, I read today they did an upgrade, so it's a wallet I like to use. I'll say that much.
So you look at coins down: Solana, Huobi token for the week, CRO for the week, Casper for the week. Projects up, GMX. I don't know what GMX is. Is that an exchange?
I think it's a DeFi exchange token or something like that.
GMX.io. Let's see. Is it?
It's been pumping like crazy.
Decentralized perpetual exchange.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. Real quick, spin through some stories. Backward in Bitcoin futures. Bitcoin bulls readying for a relief rally. Hard to imagine a relief rally here anytime soon, but maybe possibly. New York Times breathless love letter to SBF, lambasted by crypto community. Got who bench presses more, me or SBF?
Oh God.
I could bench press SBF one-handed.
Right. He could barely bench
and he's
press
got some
that.
giant moves.
Yeah.
He has some giant moves to be such a tiny man.
Yeah.
But I will get my hand up in between those moves, and I will one-handed press that sucker. I guarantee you. But he would be very lopsided because his hair would be weighing him down as I'm trying to hold him. Guys, this New York Times letter, this is why we moved on this today. This New York Times piece is why we moved on this interview today. You have to understand, the narrative for who SBF is changing in the mainstream media. They're wanting you to believe he is a freak who accidentally got tricked into stealing all your money.
He just got in over his head.
Yeah, got in over his head. And that head is high, so it's hard to do. But that's what they're trying to tell you. Today, we're going to straighten that out. There are going to be no questions about that absolutely today. Now, this is interesting, guys, because there are no projects on this list that have crossover with the projects I've talked to, which is very fascinating. All the projects I've talked to, we know Alameda shorted. We know FTX shorted, but it was done kind of behind closed doors. Here is a list of Alameda 18 tokens on insider info through FTX. Alameda allegedly shorted. So these are 18 more tokens totally screwed by FTX and Alameda. IndieGG, Looks Rare token, Guild of Guardians, Render token, Boba token, Gala Games, Immutable X, Gods Unchained, BitDAO, which is the Bybit project.
Yeah, they were the ones that came out and complained.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We should talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Spell token, Eden, Ramp DeFi, Orbs, Dodo Bird, Convergence, Sandbox. How about that? Linear token and BAL token. Oh, that was me BAL. So that's 18 projects. U.S. reportedly considering Bankman-Fried extradition for questioning. You think? This guy's got to go to prison. He's got to go to jail. He's got to get arrested immediately. We're going to be talking about that on the show today. But they're talking about sending him back to the United States in short order. It needs to happen.
You know, he's still tweeting about trying to raise more money, recover funds. He still thinks he's going to save it.
He still thinks.
Yeah.
Dude, if people saw what I said about it last night, I cannot believe he literally said, we're going to try to raise the money, make customers whole, and we're going to start again. No, you're not. No, you're not. No one thinks, and I want everybody to understand this. There is a bot propaganda problem on Twitter, on YouTube as well. I guarantee some are in the comments here. We did a test with SBF and FTX where I have a guy who his entire job is to do OPSEC research for us all the time. He went into live stream after live stream after live stream. You know what he found? He found there was a type of NFT that would be used as a profile picture. The name would be random, insignificant, and it would have the exact same comment, chat after chat after chat after chat. They'd have the same series of exact word-for-word comments that were made to look like they're from different people. It's a bot army. SBF has a bot army. I have so many supporters in Amsterdam. Keep it up. Shout out to TJ. We want to see him more. Well, I just talked about trying to get TJ last night.
Well, if you want to see me more, the best place to do that right now is Blockchain Basement.
115.
We do that right after the show, Twitch exclusive. So go check us out.
Absolutely. So anyway, let's get Sam over here in the United States.
Yeah.
Anti-crypto U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren had close ties with SBF's dad. We talked about this before. We do know that her daughter worked for the SEC as an intern. We also know that Sam Bankman's father, Joe Bankman, endorsed a tax bill introduced by Senator Elizabeth Warren. His mother, Barbara Fried, is in charge of a PAC that helped secure the Democratic funding from Silicon Valley. So we know a lot of those connections. But guys, here's what we don't want to do. We don't want to go too far down the rabbit trails today. We don't want to go too far down the conspiracies of how this is all connected to Washington and the Democratic Party specifically. We want to get into why is SBF a fraud? Why is he a villain? Why is he's moved and operated with no mercy towards these projects, ruined people's lives time and time and time again, and now he's being made out to be the hero. He was just tricked into this. No, he wasn't. We're going to show you today. He says, here it is. He wants to raise liquidity and restart business. Here's what's happening. Sam.
By the way, in response to this, what I've heard from insiders at FTX is that Sam is completely isolated from anybody that's still working on FTX to try to move through this solution. So he's in complete isolation, and these are kind of his own thoughts in his own head, and it's not. He's not doing. FTX as a company is not trying to raise more money.
Right. Genesis crypto lending unit is halting customer withdrawals in wake of FTX collapse.
This is big.
This is big.
This
It's
is
a big
today's
story
top
breaking
story.
today. We're not going to be able to get too much into it. Maybe on Around the Blockchain, we'll talk about this. But what you have to understand here is this affecting other things. Gemini is now having problems with withdrawals as well because I believe their earn program is hooked up to Genesis. Now
to be clear, they're not having issues with withdrawals of consumer or custody assets. It's just the things and the returns you're supposed to be earning from the reward program.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. So there you go. After bankruptcy, FTX user claims pay cents on the dollar. Of course, guys, that's what we're dealing with Celsius. We've now with Celsius decided we're probably just going to take a claim payout right now from an attorney if we can get one that's fair, because it's going to be a long time, I believe, before we see any of that money on Celsius. All this FTX stuff has now pushed anything you thought you were getting back quickly. It's pushed it back way out far. And I don't know if you know this, teacher. I don't know if you heard this, but I actually got exclusive on Voyager that other people don't have. I have the first reporting of Voyager to the financial authorities, and they were laughed at basically, and that got shut down. There should have been a full investigation of Voyager much earlier. Some of the problems and the warnings were fired off to some of the financial bodies and authorities, and we've got evidence of that. We have messages, customer support requests, things like that. So we'll be talking about that here in the next few weeks as well. FTX Bitcoin stash worth same as Mt. Gox, 840K Bitcoin before hack. And this is something, Frank, you go ahead and start walking up here. This is something to keep in mind, is that while there's no real, as Scott Melker said this morning on a show, great time with Scott. You guys check out Wolf of Wall Streets. Definitely want to have him on the show in the future. But one thing is that it kind of sucks that everybody's money's tied up. But from a Bitcoin perspective, that's why the price is not dumping.
Yeah.
Whether or not, like, you have to think about this. On FTX, however much of a hole they had, you remember that's just numbers on a screen. The actual amount of Bitcoin that FTX held is still the amount of Bitcoin that FTX held, whatever it is. And that can't move right now. That's probably what's actually keeping the price up. So, all right, come on up, Frank. Go ahead and do your thing here, bud.
Just trying to get SBF's image of his moves out of my brain right now. He's tethered.
Uh-oh.
Don't worry, guys. I bring my own.
Well, I hope you guys are having an awesome day. We do have a lot to look at on the charts. Shout out to anybody who saw the 9 p.m. yesterday. I have been trying to put a little bit of extra TA sauce in those videos. Some of the levels we were looking at yesterday that I did not think would hold actually wound up playing out today. So let's go ahead and jump right into the charts.
Chart section now sponsored by BitGet. We're doing a giant trading competition. You want to start the trading competition real quick for people?
Yeah. If you guys want to join the trading competition, we do have the link, right?
I will drop it in the chat.
So drop it in the chat. By the way, Frank won the FEMEX trading competition.
Shout out to the Candle Mafia.
Shout out.
It's super crazy. We were more than double the second place team, which is insane.
Yeah.
And I actually think they did. There was a little mishap. Our P&L was so high, I think they thought something weird was going on, so they took some percentage away, but we still doubled the second place people. So absolutely crushed that competition. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. Super pumped about that, and I'm going to milk that until people literally try to shut me up.
Well, you milk me lots of times, so I love that.
Whoa.
And guys, remember, BitGet is a third-party exchange. It's not a savings account. If you're going to come trade on the competition, by all means, we want you to come trade on the competition, but make sure you're not putting too much money on there. Be safe. They got proof of reserves, but as we know, nothing is 100% guaranteed. Nothing is 100% safe in crypto. Got to give that disclaimer, obviously. So,
of course.
But 100 Bitcoin on the line on this contest. So we're going to be trying to win that. Frank's going to try to win that competition. And we got some bots and algorithms and all kinds of stuff we're going to be testing for you guys soon.
Tons of super exciting stuff regarding this competition. So super excited. I know the Candle Mafia is excited. I know the BitSquad's excited. So super pumped. Let's see if we can take this one home too.
Wait, so if we combine both of those, would that be the Bit Mafia?
Ooh, the Bit Mafia.
We'll just 8x the second place team.
Yeah.
Gonna be super cool. We'll try to take home the dove here. Super excited. I was talking about it yesterday on my stream. A lot of stuff, really exciting stuff. Hopefully I can talk about on my stream tonight. Taking a look at the charts here, guys. Just kind of looking at what we were talking about yesterday. The level we were watching yesterday, and I'm going to go back to the higher time frames to look at these bearish signals that we're finding. But this was the level we were looking at about 16,773 roughly. It's this point of control. We were holding this yesterday, and I was kind of saying like we did have the 1 hour and the 90-minute time frames kind of looking decent, especially with the green dot that was confirmed on the daily time frame. But I was saying because of other reasons, other bearish signals that were popping up, I thought it would be likely that we would lose this level. And we did indeed lose it. Now working our way down towards the value area low. That level is at 15,868 exactly. So once you reject that POC and break through it, it is likely that you come down and visit that value area low. As you can see right here, you lose the POC, come straight down to that value area low. Nothing's 100%, but definitely probable. So that's really the main level I'm watching is that value area low, that blue line right there.
A little bit of a higher high there, though, don't you? I mean,
yeah, we could make a higher low right here.
So we had one higher high there. So we had a spike, and then it went down. I'm talking about move to the right. Yeah, right there. That was a bump, and then the little higher high. So we get a lower low, like maybe. If you just ignore everything happening in crypto, you just ignore everything going on, just look at the chart, like, okay, maybe some momentum.
You know, you're not we're starting to hear that from a lot of top traders out there that the charts are starting to round out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you have to completely ignore the macro.
Yeah, exactly. That's some seriously scary news going on in the macro. However, I will kind of show you guys what I'm looking at and kind of what I'm expecting in the short term. We do have that confirmed daily green dot, which money flow does not look the best here, to be 100% honest. But that green dot was kind of the one thing we were looking at to see if we can get that move up. Might get rolled over on here a little bit. But the real bearish signal that's popping up that I'm bringing, that I'm talking about here is this 6-hour blood diamond printing. Now, this isn't confirmed. This could disappear. We do still have about an hour for this to go away. But if this confirms, this would be a pretty bearish sign. And the reason why I would actually be pretty concerned about this is because if you look here, we are actually starting. I'm going to kind of just draw this with the brush. We are starting to form somewhat of a bear pennant, as you can see right here. And typically these do form, you get a big drop down and then some bearish consolidation before breaking down. These do break down more often than they break up. And the technical target for the breakdown of this bear pennant is it's kind of a scary one. The technical target would be around $12,000. So
that's scary. That's where we've said it's going.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've been talking about that range for quite some time now, between 14 and 12K.
People were telling us the bottom was in. Don't listen to them. Well, I tell you what. There are some channels out there that are having some victory laps, and it sucks. It comes at people's expense, but we've been taking some victory laps. We done told you bottom was coming in November, and here it is.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when people were saying we weren't going to break 30K. But when you have this bear pennant, definitely a little bit more bearish, in my opinion, especially with this 6-hour blood diamond. If this confirms, especially because you are at the peak of this pattern, it is likely the closer you get to the tip of this pennant here, the more likely it is to break out. So now that we're closing out this pattern with a blood diamond on the 6-hour, this could be really bearish and could potentially be the start of this breakdown. Now, again, not 100%. The major level I'm watching, guys, if we do break down out of this bear pennant and it does wind up playing out, the major level we need to hold is going to be this spider line at about 15,440. If we lose this spider line, I talked about this yesterday. If we lose this spider line, we have a big volume gap underneath us, and the next area of support or of decent support is going to come in at this next spider line at about $14,325. So that would be likely the first stop or the first level of support we would come down to if this bear pennant does play out. And again, that technical target getting you closer to about 12K. Obviously, nothing happens. The charts are messy, right? So we would likely, if we did break down, kind of mess around with these levels. But the major level here, if we lose that area of 15,440, would be a potential quick move down to 14,275. And then if we lose that level, that's probably where you're going to start working your way down closer to 12K to get that measured breakdown from this bear pennant. So these are kind of the things I'm looking at. I will lean a little bit bearish, at least at this time. And then also on top of that, I do just want to point out that we do also have on our 16-hour is looking to print a red dot here pretty soon. 12-hour getting dangerously close to a red dot. Your 10-hour is printing a red dot, and then your 8-hour is also has a confirmed red dot. So these higher hourly timeframes are looking like they want to come down as well. So these are just some of the things I'm watching, but now you guys have the specific levels to watch, and that area of about 15,440 is that real key level that we don't want to lose. But if this bear pennant starts to play out, things could get moving pretty quickly towards 14K. And then real quick, just before I hop off here, you guys will know yesterday we were looking at the SPY as we got a pretty big move up on the SPY, and we were wondering if that green dot on the daily for Bitcoin was going to kind of give us that move up to follow the SPY. However, we did not see that. And now we were talking about this yesterday, this 4-hour bearish divergence printing at your key level of resistance here. And it is now confirmed. So, like we were saying yesterday, likely that we do cool off a bit here. The next level I would look at for some support would be that 389 level. So I think that's really all I got. I know we got to move on with the show. Just watch that bear pennant forming on Bitcoin. Again, leaning a little bit bearish here. That's all I got. Back to Ben. Don't forget about the BitGet competition. We're going to win this one. Bing bong.
Yeah. Link pinned in the chat, by the way, for anybody. Also, this is coming in a lot of people in the chat talking about this. I did run and confirm Gemini website down right now.
Oh gosh,
getting a maintenance page. So we have no idea why. Obviously, like the Genesis stuff definitely has something to do with that. My guess, and this is just a pure guess,
bank run. People just
everybody's going to
website
Gemini right now to withdraw, and their website's just getting overloaded, so it's down for maintenance.
So he said a lot of fudsters.
Yeah, I saw that on the news.
Yeah,
video
guys, it's all fun right now. Yeah, that's the easy solution.
Yeah.
Elmer Fudd showed up in the chat. Real quick, I also want to say I was just on Twitter because that's what I do when Frank's talking. Apparently, there is now a gigantic class action lawsuit that has been filed against Tom Brady, Larry David, and everybody that pumped, FTX.
O'Leary.
We are so glad to be not on that list.
Yeah.
Why are we not on that list? Because I made fun of his haircut. That's actually why they never contacted us. That's what I've been told. He doesn't like it. He likes his hair. He wants people to think that this is the most altruistic haircut that you can have.
Did you see that thing I posted? Or I sent it?
Well, let's show that after Hussein. So let's go ahead and bring Hussein on here. Hussein, what is going on?
Hey, how are you, Ben? How's it going?
I'm doing great, Well, let's start here. First, tell everybody who you are. And kind of just how you got first involved in this whole situation.
Let me start with who we are and what we actually do. All right, so I run a company called New Genesis. New Genesis is an R&D company. So yes, we do blockchains. Yes, we do, crypto, but the company itself is more metadata, meta development, meta realm development. One of the key things that we've been working on since, one of the projects as early as 1999 is meta realm, which is obviously you've heard of metaverse, but let's move that aside. What it is we specialize in artificial intelligence, and we specialize in creating protocols blockchains or programs for basically enterprise and governments. All right, so I sit with many governments globally, and we discuss obviously how to utilize this technology to develop what we call meta processing, or what you guys call Web3. See, we don't call Web3 Web3. We call it decentralized ledgering autonomous networks. All right, so that's our background. So in an essence, I also run Meta Labs Global. I'm the CEO of Meta Labs Global, and I was the CEO of Advantage Crypto Australasia. So I've got a fair bit of background in trade.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, after getting to know you a little bit, like you're one of the smartest guys I've ever talked to, for sure. Bar none. You kind of have your hands in a lot going on in the space, and you really understand the tech way better than anybody that gets on Twitter Spaces talking about it. And I think what we're going to be able to show here in a few minutes is going to really shock people. So let's and people, New Genesis. The reason why people don't know who you are is because what FTX did to your project, I believe, or people would already know who you are. And we're going to get into that in a second. Go ahead.
Once we got attacked by Alameda and what happened with Alameda Research, we basically put everything on side. We realized very early that there's a scam going on, which is beyond New Genesis. It was beyond anything we could ever believe. So from there on in, we actually put all our company's resources, and I know you're aware of it, for the last 6 months, we've been doing in-depth investigations into everything that FTX has been doing. Some of the first articles that we put out were 4 or 5 months ago explaining exactly what happened now was about to happen. It's a crazy story. Let's start, and I would like to keep it into the technical aspect of how it's done, because I think there's a lot of misdirection here, and most people have been convinced that, move away from what actually occurred, because this is a crime. This isn't an accident. Sam's a genius. His organization's a genius. It took AI. I mean, we specialize in AI, right? Now, there's no such thing as real artificial intelligence. It's machine learning. At this stage, we are looking at conscious AI, but obviously there is no such thing yet in that aspect. But machine learning is far superior than any human can possibly calculate any kind of, anything. So we've been utilizing dual AI systems to try to figure out how this was done. And even with that, it took us months to figure out this operation. So this is a mastermind operation. This isn't a guy who's stuffed up. This isn't, Sam who's autistic, or I've got some of the best Asperger's that work for me. I love my Asperger workers. They're incredible. This is bullshit. I mean, what they're trying to spin and what they're trying to play, this fluff piece, absolutely bullshit. This is a crime as evil as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want everybody, because you said you've known about this stuff for 6 months, and you guys have put out articles trying to explain to people. I guess the question a lot of people want to know, and I've been alluding to a lot of evidence that I have, and I have a lot of that evidence through you. Like, why my channel? Why is this the time to strike? And kind of like, how did you guys come to those decisions?
Look, honestly, it was your passion. Now, we knew that obviously in the past you've actually supported some tokens, but we also knew you had no idea that the market was fake at that presence. I mean, how would you know? So, I mean, you had good intentions, but you made a small mistake. But we also knew that most people listens to you and that you're passionate. I mean, if we give you a story and we gave you the hardcore proof, that you would actually fight for it. I mean, most people won't fight for it. Most people wouldn't take on a story so hard. I mean, this story is very dangerous. I mean, you've seen some of the stuff in there. And this is why I don't want to actually talk about, in essence, most of the stuff that's out in the market. I just want to keep it very simple, keep it about the technology, keep it about the fraud that went on. But yeah, most people wouldn't have taken it on. And we thought that you would be the perfect person, the champion to take this on. I mean, everyone makes mistakes. You pass, but how would you know? I mean, again, the only thing we found flawed was the tokens that you were discussing. But how the hell would you know? It took us years to figure out. We've been in this space since 2013. We had 700 employees at one given time. We had the best data analysts. We have the best cryptographers. I mean, our cryptographer is from 1992. So our CTO is one of the first cryptographers, well, obviously not the first in the 60s, 70s, but in today's era. And it took us all this time to figure it out. So how would you know this stuff? So It basically was a good decision, and I was glad that we actually took that decision on.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. And I think there's a lot of people, and this is why I've been telling people, don't be too hard on Pomp. Don't be too hard on these people that talked about BlockFi or like we talked about Celsius. People have just been naive to what's really been going on. And I think today we're going to start busting through that. So let's go, Hussein. Let's start. Go ahead.
All right, so let me start with very basic journey. Now, I've got to sum. I mean, there is a 3-hour extensive video on YouTube which explains. It's 3 hours long, and that was the short version. I mean, that was literally us utilizing just a fraction of the evidence and producing the evidence. So I'm just going to basically sum up what we went through, how we went through it, the market maker strategy, and how they manipulate the market, and why this thing is a crime. So once you understand how the blockchain works in terms of crossing over from the centralized to the decentralized nature, you'll understand that this guy actually stole the funds. And if he didn't steal the funds, they're actually fake coins being traded on the FTX exchange, and most likely the other exchanges they have. So we've been following Liquid, especially Liquid, extensively, because one of the first problems we had was with Liquid. All right, so I'm going to just quickly give you guys a rough down. We got excited. Alameda, Liquid introduced us to Alameda. We went online, did a bit of research on Alameda. We should have done our proper DDs. We're idiots. We didn't do proper DDs. It was just everything online pointed that these guys were the kings. Everyone we spoke to in the space, if you join Alameda, your coin is to the roof. You're going to be great. Your project will be perfect. If Alameda supports you, that's it. That's all they care about. They don't care about your technology. I mean, no one cares about the tech. No one cares about the space. Literally, they only care about who's supporting it and how they're going to lift up the price or manipulate the markets to go. So at the time, we didn't know it was market manipulation. We just thought these guys were huge. They're a great partner. So we decided, okay, let's partner up. We spoke to John Wu from Alameda. They tell us, and I'll share the videos as well. You've already done, so I'll give everyone else access to what they want. So they say, listen, we want to partner up with you guys, and in return, we'll sustain your coin value on launch. We'll within 100 basic points. We want a partnership. We don't want you to pay us for a service. We are your partners. So if we go down, if you guys go down, we go down. So perfect, Alameda now wants to partner up with us. We're very proud. We've been 10 years building this network, no ICO. We've never sold a coin. We've built the whole network. We've never, raised capital to build the network. all the founders, all the workers have done all the hard work. You know, what else can you, there's nothing to go wrong. Anyway, so I'm going to speed this up because there's too much to go through, and I want to really focus on how they did it, and that's the real focus. So we go to market. Someone's selling our coin at 1 cent. All right, new coin was always sold at 38 cents. I mean, the lowest price it was ever sold for was 35 cents. Now we go to liquid, and all of a sudden, new coins at 1 cent.
Just so everybody understands, a couple things I want to point out before we get into this part. Number one, Liquid is an exchange owned by FTX and Alameda. It's part of the FTX empire. This is an FTX direct site. They list different coins that is on FTX, number one. Number two, I have a lot of people asking about that 3-hour video. If you give me permission to, saying we'll actually republish that video on my channel sometime this week so people can see the whole thing.
Go ahead.
Great.
The 3-hour video is really good because it'll explain exactly what they did, how they did it. I mean, in one point, we were begging Alameda. I'm telling you, begging, just watch it. Saying, please, you're destroying our company. Just stop. You're destroying us. You know you've got all our liquidity. We've told you we've given you all our liquidity. Now we're a minting platform. We utilize very similar protocols to the Bitcoin chain, but we use a -1 algorithm. All right, we don't make coins. We're not a coin. You know, we can't just produce billions of coins and reuse those coins. So please stop it. And I mean, it's crazy. Just watch that video. If you watch that video, by the end of the video, if you don't want to get a shotgun and go find the guys at Alameda and shoot them, I'll give you whatever you want. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeller, let's say. So okay, so good. So we'll publish that video. We'll publish that video on our channel. Now, this is where we were. This is exactly where you were, and explain what happened. You had signed a deal with Alameda. They were going to come on as partners with you guys. They're going to help you out. The coin listed, the discount price, or I think was like 38 cents for them. Your coin had never traded for less than 35 cents. That's where we're at right now. So what occurs after the listing?
So they've got 200 million new coin. This is it's a loan, right? So what happens in the market maker is they don't pay you for it. So when you hear Alameda has these assets or have loaned assets, they haven't paid for the assets. They actually loan the assets and utilize the assets. And I'll tell you why later they turn off the market maker, because they utilize your assets to make money. And then before they have to give you your asset back, they ensure that your market crashes so they can give you your asset back on a much cheaper price. All right. So they end up keeping the money in between. It's a very long story, but we'll go through that in depth later on. That's a completely different crime in itself. But yeah, so we're on market. No one's got new coin. No one. I mean, the only new coin that's out there is our miners. We've never sold, unlike traditional projects. We decided for legal reasons. I don't know if anyone's read our white paper. Look at our white paper. All right. Our white paper is one of the most advanced white papers you've seen in your life. All right. When it comes to legals, our legals are absolutely brilliant. Now, we decided not to go to market until all the technology was finished, so that at one point of time, nobody could ever claim that we actually took money from anybody to finish the technology. So it was very different. But no one had coin. That's why I'm telling you, no one actually had new coin. The only new coin was existent was the miners who were mining new coin. These guys weren't going to sell. We know them all. All right, all the miners loved the project. They knew the passion. I mean, even Alameda told us they expected this project to get a $20 plus, in its trade. So, it's a huge difference between what they expected and what they did to us. And one of the key things in the video, and I will share it with you to share it, John's video, right? I'll take the snippets. John tells us he knows if we spook the market, and this is why we need Alameda. If the market gets spooked at the launch, our coin is gone. Right? People don't care about nothing else. People care about your launch, when you go up, what happens, how you put your coins, if it sustains value, if it drops. So the launch is critical. So they tell us the launch is critical, and that's why we need them. So we agreed to give them over $60 million in illiquid assets, right, at that stage. So from our company, we're talking about very large sums of money, but it is illiquid. So the value of it isn't really what the value is. It doesn't actually have value at that point. That's the problem with FTX and the issue they're having right now.
FTT and everything.
Okay, so that's correct. That's why, let's be honest and be straightforward. I mean, nothing is valued at anything unless someone's willing to pay for it. Okay, so we go from there. We jump on. All of a sudden, we find new coins at 1 cent. All right, we go, who the hell's putting new coin 1 cent? We contact Liquid, say, guys, what's going on? How is it possible that new coin's at 1 cent? We told them that we've already had investors, like our founders came in, and we've got to actually give them, I mean, the first sale price is what we've told on an independent, centralized exchange, is what we have to back up. So, it's been 35 and 38 cents. Message after message. They tell us, oh, it's not us, it's the market maker. We go to John. John tells us, oh, yeah, we're fixing it. Doesn't tell us he's the one dumping it. Doesn't say, oh, no, we're the ones selling it at 1 cent, or we're the one. So we've got something called Navis, which is New Genesis Artificial Validation Intelligence System. Navis is an AI monitoring system. We specialize in AI, like I said, and we utilize AI to monitor our network. So we then interact, or we turn on Navis, and we start putting Navis to look at all the trades. So we have manual people sitting there taking every feed.
This is something that they don't know that's going on. I think what you guys are going to find here is Alameda doesn't know that what you guys are doing is so advanced on the back end. You're tracking all this.
It's in our white paper, but no one believes it's real.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing, the biggest issue is they actually think it's fake, because obviously most projects that come out don't really have real technology, and they're building technology. I mean, when it comes to treasuries, I mean, our first project, just so you know, we've actually developed over 132 blockchains, right? 5 main chains, 3 smart chains. You know, we've got peg chains. We've just launched what we call NAMs, New Genesis Asset Management Systems. We'll speak about those later. So our technology is pretty advanced. Let's put technology on the side, because obviously we don't want this to be a sales pitch. We just want this to be about the crimes that were committed. But in terms of the technology, they didn't believe it. If you read our white paper clearly says that we have anti-whale monitoring systems, right? It clearly says how it operates.
Yeah.
But obviously, anyone reading is thinking, oh, these guys just have, no. Oh, yeah, they probably have. Or they're just thinking, you know what, these guys are full of shit. You know, no one's got this technology. You know, they can't see this stuff. Yeah. So we get our guys, we're sitting down in the office, and everyone is panicking. Everyone's in a panic. Imagine the whole company. We've worked 10 years. We did not sell coin. We didn't do anything because we didn't want this to happen to us. And all of a sudden, we partner up with Alameda Research. These guys are meant to be the heroes of the space, the kingpins, you know, the mafia of the industry. Yeah. You know? But the good mafia, not the evil mafia. It turns out they're the bad guys. Yeah. So these guys were meant to be supporting us. And then our coin's at 1 cent, but it gets worse than that. So we go back to it. No, it's not us. We're fixing it. We're fixing the thing. All right. We start working with them. We're working with them. It's going up. It's going up. The next day, it's 1 or 2 cents. Now, there was only 76,000 volume traded, and it was only traded within themselves. Then all of a sudden, there's 700,000. At the time, let me just pull it up so we get exact figures. I've got all the photos. Just so you know, all the evidence you can have. Obviously, you've got a copy of it anyway.
Yeah.
If you want to share it, go ahead.
Can you share your screen? Do you know how to do it on this platform? Just go to the bottom.
I don't. Do you want to?
Yeah, go to the bottom and click the compute. If you start hovering, you should see like the phone,
sharing?
microphone. Yeah, toggle screen sharing. Click that, and then you should be able to choose the window you want to share. Hopefully, it'll work. Yep, there we go. Okay, perfect.
Okay. All right, so let me just go at Alameda chat. So let's just go here. Now, you'll realize, since you can see my screens, we have videos of every conversation. We have chats of every single chat. We have anything you
now,
can think of.
Hussein, can you make the left window maximized
Full
so that
screen.
way we're not
I will, so
seeing.
you can see better. Sorry, I forgot. My apologies.
Okay. See, you guys know Hussein's technically advanced. You see, he was able to do that. Okay, perfect. Close enough. There we go. Look at that. He did it. Amazing. Okay, perfect.
That's it. Okay, so what happens is in the Liquid chats, this is us and John. So Liquid Erwin, Liquid John, Ucoin, chat with Erwin. So
you guys, there's so much evidence that he has of this stuff. It's insane. It's insane. So here we go. Let's check out some of it.
You know what? Let's just go to the recording itself. Alameda John. All right, so
you turn that up.
So
yeah, turn the volume up on it.
Okay, I'll send this over.
Yeah, I can hear it though. If you turn the volume all the way up, I think I should be able to hear it a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I'll send it over so you can see. But I'll tell you what this one. So this is the first one. We've got recordings of everything, right? This is where John is telling us that we'll partner up with you guys, we'll look after you guys, and everything is there. Now, when we get to the other videos, and I'll explain to you what these are. This is obviously the Dan video in full. This is Seth telling us that they have access and able to. This is Liquid to create, and obviously he didn't know what context we're asking the questions, and I will explain it. Actually saying that yes, they are able to create synthetic versions. Any centralized exchange can, and that he was asked by Alameda to destroy the evidence that went to our wallet. We'll get to that in a later stage, right? So no, that's
racketeering. Like that's RICO racketeering. Like telling people to delete evidence of financial crimes. Like this is where we really start getting into why SBF is going to end up in prison.
Now, it's much worse. This folder that you see here, Alameda chats, this is on my personal computer at home because I'm at home right now. Wow. It's 3 a.m. Right now, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, just so you know. All right, in my office, no. This is extensive. So this is just me to write up, the articles, write up the information. Now, I'm going to give you a look, right? So, and I'll show you why we know it was them, and I'll show you the whole story. Okay, so see the asterisk right next to the trades?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
See at this stage? 74,820 new coin. This is where we told them to seize. We sent them also a letter to cease and desist. We don't want them to be our market maker. We don't want to have market manipulation. We don't want people to be cheated. We want to start. All they were meant to do was, 100 basic points, 38 cents, start it there, and then the market will take it from there. They're meant to support it at that price. right? So and I'll show you the emails. I mean, the emails are extensive, and I'll send you a copy. And the 3-hour video actually explains it detailed.
Yeah,
with
and
each
what we
email,
should
which
do is
going forward.
we should come up with a way, TJ. We need to think about how to do this the best way to basically where you can send us all this stuff, and we'll have a central location where people can go and view everything.
Well, hopefully
Excellent, no problem.
Everything you're willing to give.
Now, when I'll give you everything that's already out there, and we have a lot more. All right. So we've also contacted the SEC many times. SEC never got back to us. Months ago, not now. No, we're contacting the SEC to tell them this is they're trading fake coins. There's no the coins. I mean, no one's ever asked if you're on FTX, you've got money in your wallet, you've got BTC or Ethereum. Why can't you out Ethereum? If you've got one BTC in your wallet and FTX, it should be.
Hey, Hussein, can you switch back up while we're talking about this stuff? Can you switch back to the camera?
Yeah, unless you had something.
Unless you had something else you wanted to show us for sure, real quick.
No. I'll give you all that. There's too much because I want us to focus on what actually happened.
What happened? I agree. And people see the evidence is there. We're going to publish the evidence so people can go back and cross-check everything he's talking about, so you can see everything. I've seen most of this stuff, and this is why people have been on Twitter and they've been saying like, "Oh, you don't really have anything." No, we've got it. We've seen this stuff. We've checked it out. We know exactly what's going on here. With a lot. So you're able to switch. There we go. There's Hussein. Okay, cool.
Okay, so there's plenty. I mean, when it comes to evidence, we've got plenty of evidence. I mean, a lot of the companies we spoke to, so a lot of the guys who were harmed by market makers, by Alameda, we've spoken to all of them. A lot of the evidence, a lot of them didn't even know how or what happened to their projects. We had to sit down with them and go through all their evidence and show them how Alameda did it to them. I mean, we only caught them because we were sitting down, we had monitoring systems, and we only caught them because we actually cared what new coin started at. So it was not that they wanted to start at 1 cent, manipulate the price up to whatever they wanted, clear the money in between. But let's put that on side. Let's just focus on I don't want to take away from the narrative that they're trying to spin, that SBF is innocent, or it was innocent, that it was a bad business plan. No, this was very well orchestrated. So I just want to focus on exactly how the tech works. So let me just go back to it. We'll quickly go through it. And then and anything you want, you can have anyway. So in terms of the evidence. So let's keep going. Let me just go back to my notepad. Explains. Okay, so John says that they want to help us. Now, here in the video, we're telling Alameda, guys, just stop it, please. Right? Yeah. We're in trouble. Now, you're causing us. We've got, I mean, at that stage, we have 300 employees. Right? We've had to let go over 200 employees because of Alameda.
And
right?
these are the people that are hurt. Like, these are the people that get hurt because of what Sam has been doing. This is the real story here, is that people lost their jobs. They've been working on this project for 10 years. They lost their jobs in a day or 2 days because of what Sam did. No mercy.
This spiraled. Yes. There was no mercy. Imagine us telling him, just look at the video. We're telling him, please just stop. Imagine you begging someone, saying, this is our project. This is our baby. This is our child. This isn't a joke. This isn't a meme. This is not an ERC20. This is an actual project. This is 10 years of R&D. Just stop it. You're damaging our reputation. You're damaging our price. Just stop it. No one's going to believe us. Who the hell's going to believe that Alameda did this to us? We're sitting there and thinking to ourselves, if we told the world, if we just told our partners or our founders or anyone, we're coming there to tell them this happened to us, who's going to believe it? Right? And we're watching it. We're watching it unfold right in front of our eyes. Right. And the worst part is they agreed to stop. So no problem. We're meant to stop. That's why I showed you that all of a sudden new coin is still being dumped on the market. So new coin, we tried to lift up the price. So all of us scurried together. I'm telling you, at the office, all of us were sitting down in the office. We're there to celebrate. We were there on launch to celebrate. We were going to have a huge party. It was a huge achievement. We were celebrating. All of us started to literally try to open accounts on Liquid. We all started to buy the new coin that was dumped on the market. And we were buying it. I paid up to $1 for a new coin because if it went out, the mass of new coins that went out would have damaged us. We would have never been able to come back from it. Now, this is not even the story. The story is what they did with our liquidity and not give us our liquidity back. So they were trying to destroy us so we can't come up with these stories. They just didn't realize how big our company was and how advanced the technology was. All right, and that's the truth of the matter. That's the only thing they didn't count on. Okay, so then we found that's 78,000 went through there, 1 to 2 cents spread. Only company, and that's right. We demand the coin. This stage was loaded liquid. We spoke about that. So I'm just going through the notes because I don't want to miss anything that's important. I don't want to. Okay, gone over that.
You guys will see. You guys will see that Sam constantly underestimates people. Alameda underestimated people. Sam, when we first started coming at him, he underestimated this channel and what we had and what we knew about him. You can see now. underestimating Hussein and what they had built on the back end to be able to prove some of this stuff cryptographically that they were doing. This was a big mistake by them. And then, of course, you recorded everything, and they just were free flying with the information. It's a sloppy company. It's actually a sloppy company, and they did things very.
You got to
sloppy.
see how we did it. You
Yeah.
got to see how we did it, because they're used to people being corrupt, right?
Yep.
So they offered us, the moment we went to them and they gave us an offer of close to $1 million Australian straight away. They don't know our losses. They think we're just a company. And then $600,000 was offered to us as hush money, but we had to sign that we wouldn't be discussing this again. This is the first offer. You should see what I asked for. No. You got to see what I demanded. And at the end, they realized we were playing them, because by the final email, when they wanted to go to arbitration, they're saying, listen, we'll give you guys whatever you want. Basically in the email, look, you'll leave happy. And we asked for everything. I mean, I was going to ask for a super yacht. That was the next thing I was going to ask him for. Because when we realized what this was, we go, shit, forget about Newcoin. This is the whole market. Yeah. If these guys can do it, that means everyone else can do it. If these guys are creating synthetic Newcoin, because right now, this is where it becomes very interesting. This is finished. It's over. It's done. We're asking for our liquidity back. Navis still monitors the network. Now, our New Genesis chain, if you go to the Explorer, we have something called a USI, which is unique serial identifier. So our coins are very different to your average coin. We went, look, I don't know the lingo of the crypto space. I know the lingo of the meta processing space. So it's a very different area. We both use the same technology. We use blockchain to become a ledgering system. So we look at decentralized autonomous ledgering networks. And becoming a decentralized autonomous ledgering network, you also have a DAO, which is decentralized autonomous ledgering systems. You guys call it decentralized autonomous organizations. Now, decentralized autonomous organizations, they sit underneath what we call decentralized autonomous ledgering systems. Now, what that means is it's trustless. We develop systems that no one needs to trust. I mean, it's systems, it's AI. So even when we're cross-chaining, when we send a coin to you and you're replicating our coin, you're burning it off our chain and you're creating it in the other chain. So we use parallel processing. So it's not one blockchain. We've got many blockchains. And every blockchain has different functions, and every blockchain is utilized depending on the weight of the transaction. Every weight of the transaction, if you're doing a smart contract, it's got a 6-second finality. And if you're doing a coin creation, it's got a 200th of a millisecond finality. So it's a very different type of technology to what I'm trying to say is it's very different to what they're used to. All right, but we also utilize advanced monitoring systems to understand if someone tries to corrupt the nodes, if someone tries to cheat. So a few days later, Navis reports to us that someone's unauthorizedly accessed our nodes, our system. And we're thinking, okay, what's going on here? Who the hell's entered our network? Now, the one thing we did is Liquid wanted our actual source code. There was no way we were going to give them our source code. All right, so what we did is we gave them a source code good enough for them to connect and think that they had the source code of our network. I mean, one of the demands is they take your source code. Do you understand how insane that is? That means any exchange you give them your source code can just replicate your technology. And you'll see in a later stage, FTX puts a paper out there in terms of a decentralized messaging app, a social media platform. They stole it off us. Go look at our white paper. They stole parts of our white paper and they stole the concept. They could never build it. We've been 10 years building it. They're never going to get it. But it's just a con to raise money, right? And let's put that aside anyway. So anyway, Navis
you're just so people are kind of, because I know a lot of people are asking for like layman's terms what this means. What happens? You guys have a source code for the token, and each token basically has, for layman's purpose, a serial number built into it. And when you gave them the source code, you left that part out. That was not in there, correct?
No, we left a lot of things out. We gave them a very basic substrate because we use all languages. We don't use one. We don't care which blockchain is better. So we're not building a single blockchain. We're building a network of blockchains which talk together. So it doesn't matter if it's ADA, it doesn't matter if it's Solana, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about just in terms of, it doesn't matter if it's Substrate, it doesn't matter if whatever, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if it's C++, it doesn't matter what the chains or what the frameworks are of the chains. What we do is we take those chains, we change the type of consensus they use. We add the technology we created into that chain. So it's scalable, right? And then we connect those chains all together so they can actually talk together. So we're not against what chain and who's better and who's not better. We don't care who's better or not better. But parts of the technology gives us, yes, we designed our first chain to be a CBDC, right? And again, this was the way we entered the market. We're looking for something that would be working for a CBDC in essence. So we gave a serialized number, a serial to the actual chain. And this is later on, there's a story where Dan actually tries to say that, he's going to come after us because of that. It becomes a security. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard of, right? But anyway, long story short. But we had a USI, but we had a program, an AI, which would look at even the centralized. So centralized exchanges, we can't see inside of them. Let's just get that straight. Nobody can. You know, anyone that tells you they can tell what a centralized exchange does is full of shit. Excuse the language. Yeah. Nobody can. But what we can do is we can see the order books. And from the order books, we can scan the order books and we can understand if there's any market manipulation. We were naive. We didn't know that the space was manipulated. So we thought that, you know what, this is all natural. You know, people want it. It's supply and demand. You want our coin, you buy our coin. I mean, our coin has a serviceability. It's got a utility. If you want it, you buy it. You don't want it, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to hold it for? We're old school. We're not, you know, we're not the essence of this new era. And this is why the jargon we use is very different to your crypto space. Yeah. All right. But again, if you look at MetaRealm, 1992 project, if anyone's interested, and please, the guy that has to get credit for meta development is not even us. Meta development started from a scientist in the US, Professor James, if I can remember right, James Presley. And it was a project called the Moses Project. It was developed in 1992. It was about what you guys now call the metaverse, except it was a real life application of it. We took over that, well, not took over the project, we took over the concept. And we bought that actual company because Facebook actually came after us for our meta rights and they lost to us. So they actually have to drop the case. Wow. We've owned it since the company of MetaRealm has been, I mean, the company itself is 1999 registered. So when we took over that company, we bought that domain. We've had it since 1999. Yeah. But anyway, that's a different story. So let's just focus on the SBF issue and what's going on. Beautiful. So we then get alerts that we've received fake coin. We're thinking, there's fake new coin being created. Right. And we're thinking, what does that mean? Because we created this tech, but it's R&D. Like with R&D, you don't actually know how it works. You've got to teach it. And you've got to continue to teach it. It's not like the AI is conscious. It doesn't understand new things. But it's now giving us alerts and saying, these are two issues. Someone's accessed your chain and someone's created coins that should not be created on the network. Right, and this is on the centralized because it's looking at the order books and it's looking at what was sent to the wallets, and it's saying that you've now received 199 million coins, but that number, there should not be that much coins on that network. Right. Therefore, there's a discrepancy between the liquidity pool and that network, and this is very important because this is what happened on FTX and so when they tried to send us those coins, it got picked up. So we went back to them and said, guys, why did you access our chain? Why did you use libraries that you weren't authorized to? What have you guys done? Why have you pulled all your customers' pools together and put them into a liquidity pool? So what they've done is they've taken every single customer's new coin and put them into one, because the only reason why you'll do that if you want to falsify and make fake versions, because, you know, in terms of, this is not bank runs. Forget the idea of a bank run. Bank run's traditional banking. Crypto is not traditional banking. The concept of a bank run is a fraud. Anyone that ever says that this is a bank run is full of shit, excuse the language. It's very simple. A wallet is you transfer your coin from your chain to a centralized network. The centralized network has to store that new coin, that Ethereum, that in a liquidity pool or wherever they store it. If it's cold or if it's hot, it doesn't really matter. They've got to store it somewhere. Now that liquidity has a relationship one-to-one to the actual chain. So if someone's got one Ethereum on FTX, there's got to be one real Ethereum somewhere, or else that Ethereum that they traded on FTX is fake. It means they don't actually have Ethereum. They've got the synthetic creation of the Ethereum on that chain.
And I see people saying, I see people saying, somebody said in the chat, there's this guy, MP, get rid of this guy. This guy is doing nonstop propaganda in this chat. Everything this guy says is negative. And I see all these people talking about Hussein is on meth, Hussein is on Adderall. Guys, all those people, those are FTX bots. I don't know if you guys understand this. Go look at Autism Capital. Look at what they do. Look at the language they talk. Everybody's on Adderall. Everybody's on speed. Blah, 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 blah. If you can't listen to this guy and understand everything that he is saying while it is very high level, is also very thought out and very well prepared and makes total sense of what we've seen, then you're not listening. We have these people in this chat right now that are trying to diminish what's being said right now. And I guarantee you, every person that's making those comments, they are associated with Sam. I guarantee it. Now, listen, here's the thing. What he's saying is this. One guy in this chat, this MP guy, earlier what he said is, it's not illegal to make paper coins on an exchange. The F it's not. Yes, it is. That's literally market manipulation. That's them controlling the supply. If you have a futures exchange, or you have a futures, if you have like Deribit, like you understand when people are taking those futures contracts, those are paper Bitcoins, as long as they're not spot, they're futures, right? They're paper Bitcoins. Crypto Daily talked about this years ago, the way they inflate the market with these paper Bitcoins. But we're talking about on one exchange that's supposed to have liquidity backing up what's happening, and he has literally an unlimited amount of coins that they can create to control the supply. What does this mean? This means that when they inflate these counterfeit coins, they are increasing the supply so drastically that this is the model that they use to short every single one of these projects to the ground. This is pure market manipulation. This is not standard. The hedge funds, they kind of control stuff. No. This is fraud. And if you can't get this through your head, then you don't need to be in this space, guys. This is factual what he's telling you. So go ahead, Hussein.
I want to say this one thing too. I read a story this morning.
TJ, you want to say? TJ, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot more coming out about this from I was reading a story this morning that was talking about how FTX used all these synthetic assets to short AMC and GameStop.
Oh yeah, we know about this.
Yeah.
We've already got one of the biggest Wall Street bets, GameStop guys, which is Matt Kors on Twitter. I've already connected him with Ryan, one of our investigators, who is catching them up to what's going on as well. This goes far beyond just crypto, guys. This is the exact model that Citadel used to crush Wall Street bets. So, all right, Hussein, go ahead.
No, it gets worse than that. You guys got to understand, he stole your money. Yeah. I mean, the fact is, if I've sent over my money to FTX, or I've sent over anything to FTX, my Ethereum, I sent over Ethereum. I didn't give him permission to take the real Ethereum, bank it, and go utilize it. Even if it wasn't, let's just say they want to argue that the synthetic or non-synthetic. No one gave him permission to take the actual real asset and then replace it with a fake asset. Right. Because the fact that you can't withdraw your asset means there's no liquidity in the liquidity pool. There's not enough liquidity for people to withdraw their assets. That's what the shortfall is. So forget the rubbish you hear out there. I'm talking about technology. I don't care about the politics. I'm not interested in the politics behind it. We're talking about pure technology here, right? Technology-wise, if the fact that you cannot pull, and this is why they were not, and we're going to go into this, how we figured it out. This is why they could never send us our new coin back. The new coin they were trying to send us was synthetic. Now, when they tried to bring it back to our system, and I'll explain to you why it was synthetic as well. When they tried to bring it back to our system rejected it. That's why in all the email chains, you see they can't send it back. To today, they haven't sent it back, right? The blockchains, there's nothing, guys, anyone attacking blockchains, there is nothing wrong with blockchain technology. It is incredible technology, all right? Most people believe there's limits to blockchain. There is no limits to blockchain. There is no limits to decentralized autonomous networks, all right? There's the future of Web3. Web3 is the base. It will be, and it will be created, and the processing power will be done through ledgers, would be decentralized autonomous ledgering networks. All right, there's no Web3 without it. So it is the future. So when people attack the space, and this is what upsets us, people now attack the technology. Yeah. It's not a technology issue. It's not a decentralization issue. This is centralized cancer. This is fraud. This is a criminal who had access to a platform where he could even see the positions of players on the platform. Right? This is absolutely fraud. So don't mix the space. Don't damage the reputation of the space with the reputation of a criminal, because that's just a crime being committed. All right? That's a very different thing. The space, blockchain technology is unbelievable. And I just want to make that very clear.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I tell everybody, nobody's private keys have been hacked, guys. As long as you didn't have your money on, private, exchanges or centralized exchanges, then, there's nothing wrong with your money. What the problem is, you have your money on exchanges who are doing this with liquidity pools and are faking the liquidity pools basically.
Yeah, but they think they can get away with it because if you fake it well enough and you make enough money and liquidate positions, because remember, this also gives them ability to actually create. And this is when I say we decided not to, we negotiated to get evidence, right? You've just got to understand that. But this was much bigger than one single company. This became adamant that this was a sophisticated arena which was being utilized to make, I'm talking about the average person. Who was losing money? The average person that was actually putting their money into crypto. How many guys do you know? Forget about the early guys. We were early guys, right? We made money from crypto. A lot of people made money from crypto. Put that aside. Let's go to the later stage crypto. Who's made money? Right? That's a different story. Let's just put that aside anyway. Let's just focus on the only guys made money are the guys who control the centralized exchanges. All right, so, and then at that retrospect, we'll go back into that. We realized that there was a creation of coin on that network. This is where it all started. Then we had to prove it. How the hell would we go and bring this out to the world with people actually believing what we're saying? And this is, again, we contact you and we start this investigation. Now, from that investigation, we learned a lot. For 6 months, that investigation was a lot. But I want to focus really, and if people have questions about the technology, the fact that what is the reason why you can't withdraw your liquidity is because the liquidity is not actually there. Therefore, they either stole people's liquidity or they were selling synthetic versions of the coins, which actually were created by them themselves.
Yeah, and that is shocking what they were able to do, and it makes sense. We have somebody in the chat, which, by the way, Gemini's back up. By the way, guys, so we had that. Somebody came in and told us that while we were in the interview. Was FTX counterfeiting crypto and using the counterfeit to short the market down? Is this why we've been trapped in this never-ending bear? Well, we're in a standard bear market for crypto right now, so that's not why we're in a bear market. But I would say that a lot of this had to do with what held the market back probably in the bull run from being able to get up to higher prices. And this is what you say, when do people make money? Yes, people that got on this channel in 2019 and early 2020, they did make a lot of money. But if you look at the returns from this last bull market to the one previous, it wasn't even close. It went from an 18x to a 3.5x when it comes to returns. And so what you're saying is it's a lot of these exchanges that are basically sucking all of these funds away from retail customers while they're on the exchanges, and then they're using other methods to make money on top of your money that they've stolen. Meanwhile, they left you holding the bag. And meanwhile, you're also investing in projects that they're actively shorting by controlling the liquidity pools, which is absolutely insane that they're able to do that.
Like they say, fake it till you make it. They do that long enough until they actually have the real assets behind them. So the real assets then basically make their books look good. I mean, that's how they basically balance their books. So, I mean, in its first stage, it's not about 5 months ago, we had a document leaked to us. Now, obviously, we're not going to disclose who and what. And obviously, we've been working on this for a very long time. And most of the evidence that's currently out there, yes, is being pushed over from most of our companies. But we had a document leaked to us with 200 projects. You should see this project list. It's unbelievable. Yeah. 200 projects that Alameda was behind in one or another way, either financing, either investment, either market maker. I mean, the rounds, the money it gathered, I mean, it was insane. So, and these are some of the biggest projects in the space. So when we looked at this, it was like, okay, this is just unbelievable. I mean, really unbelievable. Yeah. But again,
Michael Watkins here in the chat, which, by the way, he was saying we got 8 minutes left. We got 8 minutes left. And we can do another follow-up interview down the road. I got another thing at 1 o'clock I gotta get to. Michael Watkins made this chat, and I want to talk about this here. He says, yes, the same thing happened with online poker in the mid-2000s. I mean, that's a whole other piece of this story.
Yeah, no. Once you start looking at the evidence, exactly the same thing. It's like the hack, right? I've got to go, we won't go into too much detail. But obviously, we gave NBC and a couple of other channels information that the hack was going to happen before it even happened. And it wasn't about
you told me about it a week ago.
Basically, yeah, it was about them going into their systems and obviously destroying data points. So no one can actually tell how much money is actually owned inside the system. But these are conspiracies, and I don't want people to focus on them. I want them to really focus on what they've done to them and how they've robbed them. Right? It's once people understand that they actually were robbed, that this was not a bank run, this was a sophisticated arena.
Yes.
Dan Friedberg. I mean, I was one of the ones who passionately went. I mean, he told me he was going to put me in jail. You've got to actually watch the video. So he was going to put me in jail because they counterfeited coin. Right? That's literally, go watch the video. Right?
That's like the guy on Cops that called the cops because his crack deal went bad. You know.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. All right, so this, if you look at what they've done here, is absolutely no difference, right? Yeah. The whole structure, the exits, the scapegoats. I mean, this is all a very well organized. And the reason why we tried to stay away from the politics is this is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life, right? The more evidence we got, the more whistleblowers came to us, and the more evidence given to us. I'm telling you what, it's the scariest shit I've ever seen. I mean, the amount of power the guy has, his connections, the family connections, what they do. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'll leave that to you YouTubers. I'll leave that to the market. I don't want to get involved in it.
We got to get into that stuff after we make sure he gets arrested. And yes, exactly.
If they take serious action against him. I mean, at this stage, all the fluff pieces.
I know.
I hope so. Look, there is an article that's going to come out, and I hope she does put it out through NBC. She's probably one of the best reporters I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Every other reporter we've worked with has chickened out. We've given data and we've given information that's unbelievable. We've given them videos. We've given everything. They turn into fluff pieces. Don't even ask me how. All right. There is one reporter, and only one reporter, I won't say her name when the video comes out, people will realize who she is, who's absolutely brilliant reporter, who's willing to talk about the stuff that no one else will. There's a huge story coming out. It will full detail everything that happened, not from us, from all other projects. Guys, we're only one project. This happened to a lot of projects. So just let's not get something wrong. There's a project I was dealing with, and just to let you guys know, they believe they were conned over $100 million. In our initial assessments, we believe it's $200 million.
Mm.
So we lost money. We didn't lose that much money. This project believes it was conned of over, and I do know that they're going to come onto your show at one given point, and I hope they do, and don't get scared to jump on. But they were conned from another market maker, and we believe the same market makers are connected all together because there's a connection between SBF and the other market maker as well. I mean, he was the founder or one of the leads on one of our projects with that market maker. But they lost over $100 to $200 million. It's one of the best projects on the market. Well, in theory, I don't know the technology. I haven't seen the technology, but they haven't made a dollar. They haven't made a cent, right? So their positions, they're wiped out. There's other projects that have lost far more money. The only reason why we have this evidence is we utilize AI. We were monitoring the systems. So we were just lucky enough to be the guys who can actually bring the evidence forward. But this is a systematic issue. It's happened to a lot of guys, and I hope they come on your show, Ben. I'm looking forward for them to tell the world what happened to them. Their stories are just as bad or even worse.
We have more projects this week coming on the show. I've got an interview with ICP on Friday morning, which I don't think we're going to put on the live stream. I don't know, maybe if we get it chopped up in time, we can throw it on the live stream. I think we're going to do it as a separate video on probably Friday afternoon. But we've got them coming on. I've been in touch with Reef is another project. And of course, I know the one you're talking about as well. I'm going to reach out, see if we can get them on the show too.
You need them on the show. That I've done a full study on this. I spoke to them extensively. I've spoken to all of them, but their ones extensively, and I've gone through their evidence. It's unbelievable. They actually, seriously, the market makers took the money, left them with nothing. There's a downfall of over $100 million, and there's a huge. Let's just not. I'll leave that for your own story. That's their private business, and I'll let them speak to you. But we've spoken to many projects. I mean, they've all come to us. We've spoken to them. It's the same story over and over and over again. And all of the prices went through the roof. They never made a dollar. Market maker did. And then all of a sudden, just before the market maker agreement finishes, all of a sudden their coins drop flat bottom because they turn the market maker off. You've got to understand. And what I want to get into here is as soon as you turn down the market maker or slow down the market maker, you can bring the price to wherever you want. There's not enough trade on the market. And look at Liquid itself and look at Liquid's growth after FTX took it. Right, it became one of the dominant exchanges all of a sudden. Just look at it. I mean, this is just wash trading, so you'll figure it out yourself. But I really just want people to focus on the fact that if anyone tells you it's a bank run, we don't have bank runs. All right, yes, these guys are believing the narratives. The whole point of crypto and the whole point of this industry is when we're trading our crypto, and when we're putting our crypto on an exchange, it is our crypto, right? And again, yes, it is not in our wallet and no private. I believe what you guys are saying. I've always had that, no private keys, it's not yours. I mean, if mnemonics aren't in your control, it's not yours, right? But again, I'll leave it at that. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer. But I really just want to focus on that specific point so people know what to look for.
Yeah, I think everything you've said here is, man, I mean, this is a lot to swallow for people. And I know people understand this is what I've learned all this stuff. I've known all this for about a month, and I've really been out there trying to be out in front, telling you guys to get your money off FTX before it crashed, which this is what people don't know. People don't know. We've been working on this story, and we've been working with NBC, in fact, before CZ pulled the trigger on all this stuff. What happened is CZ pulled the trigger because he got wind of the same information that you have, and he decided overnight, basically, to just pull the trigger and make it happen. We were trying to do this in a slow, methodical way to keep the crypto markets from totally collapsing, and when people find out all this evidence of what's happened with FTX, but it happened much quicker than people thought. And a lot of people have been asking, are you going to go on other shows? Are you going to do Twitter Spaces? This was the first one you were going to do. Now that we've got stuff out, we're going to put together some of the evidence package so you guys can see it. And then you are going to be going on Twitter Spaces, I believe, with Mario Narwhal. And then you've got some other shows you're going to be doing as well.
We've been invited to go into a lot of space. Now, the way our company operates, look, first time I opened up a Twitter account and first time I went to social media. Right, my board wanted us to do it. It's not how we operate. We're an R&D company. We believe in product. We believe in having technology out there. I'm not the story type. I'm not the storyteller. So yes, I mean, you help. It's because of you this whole thing happened, right? That's the truth of the matter. If it wasn't for you to stand up and start this process, it would have never come out. No one wanted to touch this. We took it to a lot of people. No one wanted to touch this arena. So I wanted to come up here. I wanted to speak to people. I mean, if you ever need me, I'll be there. We have been invited to the Twitter space. We will try to get onto that Twitter space. But in terms of everything else, I really want to move forward and get people to start. We've got to redevelop the space. This space is being destroyed. 100%. I mean, this is worse. The confidence is gone. We need people to understand that this is not a space issue. It's not a crypto issue. This is not a blockchain issue. This is just a criminal who had access, who fooled the world, He robbed you guys. He was a criminal all the way through. It has nothing to do with the space. Please don't believe that this space isn't the future, because it is the only future. If you go look at
100%.
some of the stuff we developed through meta research, we've created bionic hands. You got to understand that from R&D through this space, the amount of technology we were able to produce is unbelievable. So don't give up on this space is what I'm trying to say. All right, the guy's a criminal. I hope he gets locked up. It's time to fix the problem, and it's time to look at ways to move forward. That's basically what our message is.
I know you're aware of our plan. We have a plan to make sure he's locked up. Yep. We have been in touch with politicians, with regular. They know this stuff is coming, and we're putting all this stuff together for them. And when we get this in the hands of the person that we've been in contact who said they're going to do something about it, this is going to be big, and it's going to blow up and all this stuff. Because, look, guys, Hussein's on the show today, and thank you so much, Hussein, for coming on. We'll go ahead and drop you off right now, Hussein. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm going to talk to the crowd here for just
Thanks
just a
for
minute.
having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. So, guys, the evidence is clear. Like, this is not a game of this is some idiot who just happened to stumble into, accidentally stealing everybody's money. There's been a methodical plan since day one. Hussein's been working on this for 6 months. He's got the evidence, and I've seen it. It's a little bit hard to show on the live stream and really connect the dots. We're going to be putting all this stuff together for you guys to see. This is going to the hands of regulators and to the hands of politicians and ex-politicians that have a lot of involvement in what happens and say in what happens in the world today when it comes to who's in trouble for what. Hussein's just one guy. Hussein's just one project. But wait until we get the other ones on the show. Listen to what they did to ICP. Listen to what they did to Reef. Listen to what they did to many other projects. You saw the 18 projects on Alameda that they shorted. We just showed that at the beginning of the show. Each one of these has a story to tell and has evidence behind it. The evidence across this entire space against SBF is so dramatically damning, there's no way he survives this. And if you look at the Dan Friedberg model, Dan Friedberg is going to be the one who flips on him and sells him up the river so we can make sure that Sam is gone, and then we can go after that cockroach a different time.
Well, and Dan is the one who really perpetuated that poker scheme back in the mid-2000s.
Absolute poker, the worst poker scandal in history.
Which set online poker back in the United States years and years and years and years for similar reasons.
Led to Black Friday, they basically ended it. So, guys, you guys make sure that unless the uploaded evidence is solid, it's very solid. You can't find more solid evidence than somebody saying, yeah, we counterfeited your coin. Like, you can't get more solid evidence. It doesn't exist. We've got contracts. We got emails. We have so much stuff. It's going to be extremely damning for them. If you couldn't tell just from 3 things that he showed, what this is going to look like, it's going to be really bad. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Thank you to Hussein for coming on. We're going to have some other people on. I may try to get the refinance guy on maybe tomorrow. I'm going to check with him, see if he can come on. It won't be quite as long of a segment because obviously Hussein is the center of all this. I promise you. He's the one that is releasing everything, and he tricked them into giving him the information and the evidence. So that's all we got for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a regular show. Maybe going to try to see if we can get refinance or another project on tomorrow. That's all I got. Be blessed. Everything's good with crypto. It's bad with the centralized authorities. It's bad with stock market 2.0. BitBoy out.
Join us for Blockchain Basement.
Blockchain Basement 115 on Twitch. Let's go.